So Greer, I thought we needed to go quite big for our big preview for the finale. So I've picked, I think, the greatest contestant this series has ever seen. Don't just take it from me, though. Here's Lord Sugar.
Kayode, great character, great talker. He was very motivational. He was great in front of an audience.
How's everyone doing?
He would get them going, wind them up a little bit. So great presenter.
I heard some chuckles. You like the logo, right? I like it too.
Claude loved him, actually, which is unique in itself.
It was a pure joy to watch Kayode sell because he was so upfront. He had no shame or embarrassment about going up to people.
3 donuts left, and guess how many of you there are? Oh, she wins the maths competition, high five.
And he had a great patter, a great way about him. He was a friendly, unassuming, wonderful guy.
Greer, are you ready?
So ready.
Let's welcome to the show for our big Apprentice final preview, Series 13 legend, Kayode Damali joins us. Kayode, thank you so much for coming back.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, really, really well. Thank you so much for being there. I thought we would do this preview in a few parts, if that's all right. Number one, before we get to the final, I just want to shoot at you loads of random Apprentice questions that I've thought of. And Greer, if you've got any, you chuck them in as well, all right?
Okay.
So, Kayode, how long do you really get between tasks? Because it says it's every week, but really, are you only getting a few days?
Yeah, so in between tasks, it depends on what task it is. You know how some tasks, you go far or you go abroad, so you get a bit more of a rest day in between. But typically, you're looking at a few days. It's literally a few days, not even that. You would have a down day or whatever to do what you need to do. But yeah, they're literally almost back to back. Rather than it's just like a working week with a little weekend in between, really, when you think about it.
And in those little weekend days, when you have got a break, what are you doing with the other contestants, if you can tell me?
So it's funny, she was just chilling in the house. I mean, at the house we had a gym nearby, so a few of us, we enjoyed going to the gym. You do your Sainsbury's, there's a Sainsbury's nearby as well, so you just do your little shopping, what you need to do. So essentially, it's just like recouping and stuff like that. Because bear in mind, there's not much you can do in the house. It's not like you have, I don't even think we were allowed to even watch TV, to be honest.
You can't watch TV?
Yeah, you wouldn't even. So I'm saying there's only so much you can do. That's why, in our house, there was the instance where Karen got his arm broken during an arm wrestle because, what they say, devil makes work for idle hands, right? So if there's not much to do, end up doing arm wrestling and, someone breaks their arm.
All right. Kayode, this is Greer Riddell. She does our TV reviews every week. Greer, did you know that someone broke their arm because of an arm wrestle?
No, that is a fantastic fact. It shouldn't be funny, but that did make me laugh.
Have you got any questions that you wanted to ask, Greer? You're an absolute Apprentice nerd like me.
Yes, I have a few. The first one is are you really woken up by that phone call that we see at the beginning, when you're rushing to the phone to pick it up and finding out the task? Is that really when you get woken up? Because surely the cameras have to come into the house first.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Grid. They come in quietly because I'm sure they must come in like a mouse because that phone call is that is your cue, essentially. That is your cue. But I was only fortunate to answer that phone once. And because we're by my house, I wouldn't say my house like I owned it, but when I was in my house, I was at the very top floor, so I couldn't even hear the phone because of the way the house was set up. So, but yeah, that is the cue. That is your cue.
Kayode, we've just had the interviews episode. You'll have to remind me. Sorry, it was a few years ago. Did you make it that far?
Oh, you're breaking my heart, Dan. No, I didn't.
I was gonna say, I was interested in some of the behind-the-scenes-ness of those interviews. Well, listen, let's move on to Thursday's final. 2 fantastic candidates left. We've got Harpreet, she's taking on Catherine's. It's desserts versus pyjamas. Kayode, what have you made of the series so far?
I think it's been a great watch. It's been enjoyable, especially after a pandemic. It's not been on for 2 years and a bit. For me, it's been great to come back and watch it. And I mean, for me, I love watching it. My mum, it's a big thing between me and my mum. We always watch it relentlessly together, and we discuss it afterwards. And she watches at her house, watch it where I live, and yeah, it's become a little thing. We really been enjoying watching it together.
Now, Greer, I think I'm trying to remember my favourite moment of this year's series, and I think actually this one from last week during the interviews, Kayode. I don't know if you saw this. When Catherine was busted about whether she designed the pyjamas. Have a listen.
So when I say designed solely by me, I mean as a whole. So that would be the shape of the pyjamas. So the prints on them would
So
be...
did you design the prints?
I didn't design the prints, no.
So let's be honest, have you designed anything? Just give me a yes or no answer. Have you designed anything?
No.
No. Greer, is there something that you wanted to ask Kayode about this series? I know that you've been following it very closely.
Absolutely, I've been watching it every week. I just wondered, because we've had so many great tasks this time around, is there a task that has been in this series that you think, you know what, I'd quite like to have given that one a go?
Oh, yes, for me, it was, definitely the TV shopping. I would have loved to have done that because I love presenting. I love, talking on camera and stuff like that. So I think if I was to say, I know it's not unique just to this series, because they do one in every year, but that's definitely the main one for me.
Now, here's what I think.
In fact, sorry, if I was to give another one, I love the Formula One one. Was it Formula One or when it went to Silverstone? Yeah, I would have loved that as well. That looked like a good task as well.
Here's what I think about it, Kayode, while I feel bad for some of the contestants, is that these are fantastic business heads and they get fired for stuff that they would never ever do in real life. Aaron the other day got fired because he can't make baby food. How did you feel as a candidate kind of being chucked well outside your comfort zone?
Yeah, I do think that's a bit harsh. Like, even on my one of the reasons I got fired is because I wasn't necessarily, it was a gardening task. And for me, I'm not really good at, what was it? I had to jet spray the deck of a boat, and I'm not really a hands-on type of person like that. So I didn't really excel in the time we had. So I get where Aaron's coming from. It's not nice to be fired on a task where it's not necessarily your thing. But I guess in the apprentice side, everyone's in the same boat. Out of the 12 tasks or however many tasks there are, everyone's going to have a task whereby it's not up their street. So I guess it's quite fair in that sense. So it can be quite unfair for you personally, but I guess it's fair on the whole for everyone in the same boat.
Right, let's just go around the houses then. We are left with Harpreet with the desserts and her sister, who everyone's annoyed at, and Catherine with her pyjamas. Greer, who do you think is going to take it this series?
I think it might be Catherine, because we've had a few contestants, win over the last few years. They've been doing sort of desserts and baked goods and things. So I think maybe Alan Sugar's looking for something a little bit different, and I think it might be Catherine with her pyjama business.
Same question to you, Kayode. Harpreet or Catherine, who's going to win?
See, I'm glad Corinne mentioned that because, like she said, there has been bakery business before. Like the one before Karina one got bakery business a few years before that. Alana one with a bakery business. But at the same time, Sean won in my series with a clothing business as well, which is quite similar to Catherine's being clothing and selling online. So I think it's 50-50 in the sense that you have both of them. But if I had to pick, I'd have to flip a coin because I don't think I can.
Oh, come on. Here's the thing, Kayode. Greer and I don't really have proper jobs. I mean, she talks about telly for a living. I put her on the radio to talk about telly for a living.
Jobs to me, where can I sign up?
This is what I'm thinking. I only say this because you've been in office types environments before, and Harpreet and Catherine are two very, very strong ladies. I'm so happy that they've made the final. Who would you prefer to be managed by at work?
Oh, I think definitely, it's nothing too Harpreet, but I prefer a Catherine style of leadership. Harpreet gets things done. I respect it, but for me personally, I'd rather be in the receiving end of Catherine than Harpreet.
Amazing. Well, listen, Kayode Damali, Series 13 legend, thank you so much for joining us.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Greer.
No worries.